Of snow. Here's a great back to Briere. Fire! Score!
Hello, Flyers fans, and welcome in to Broad Street Broadcast. I am your host, Travis Ballinghoff, along with my co-host,
Kevin Beatty.
What's going on, bro? How we doing?
Dude, living the dream. How about you?
Can't complain. Just watched a pretty pitiful performance against the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, but you know what? I've come to expect it. I'm just kind of just lose out the rest of the year, get a high draft pick, and I'll be happy.
I am in favor of that.
Yeah.
So, to the viewers, like I said, this is called Broad Street Broadcast. I am Travis Ballinghoff. I'm 23 years old. I just graduated from Rowan University. I am credentialed to cover the Flyers, and I am also Nasty Knuckles' producer. And I do some social media work for Broads Media. Kev, how about you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
I am far less impressive. My name is Kevin Beatty. I am 22 years old. I also just graduated from Rowan. I worked as a NBCSN intern for 2 years, and then COVID hit. It's about all my experience.
Freaking COVID.
I've been a Flyers fan for about 10 or so years. Been following the team like ever since. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, where do you want to start off with? You want to start with Giroux and the whole nice ceremony we had last night?
Let's just get. I feel like we just get Ottawa out of the way real
Okay.
quick, and then because Giroux's just going to take up most of the show. I feel like.
Right. All right. So we just lost to the Ottawa Senators. I actually thought Martin Jones played all right. I was cool with his performance.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the effort given. Like it wasn't the worst game they played all season. It wasn't the best, especially after how hard they went last year. Like it's kind of or last night.
Right.
But yeah, it's just kind of you take what you can get. I know that they kind of I feel like burned themselves out. But you just can't lose to the Senators. That's pitiful.
Yeah, one thing that really stuck out to me, I thought Frost had a really bad game.
I'm losing confidence.
I know.
I'm losing confidence.
Too. And that game earlier in the week, who did we play? Montreal?
Yes, where we lost, yeah.
Yeah, Frost played out of his mind that game, and then the last two have been kind of clunkers.
Yep.
I thought, all right, put him with TK, put him with G. Well, he didn't play with G tonight, but he's been playing with him the last couple of games. I'm like, all right, it's time to sink or swim here, and you're handed an opportunity, and we still got games left. We got a nice little chunk of the season to go, and they're pretty much handing him an opportunity, and I really hope he can grab it and run with it.
It's especially with G gone, his ice time's definitely it's got to go up.
Yep.
So like I said, like you said, sink or swim. If he can't do, especially in a lost season like this where they have literally nothing to lose, if you can't put on any kind of growth, show any kind of growth, then it's time to move on.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, no, it's. I mean, I do have to say the goal, the first Ottawa goal. Oh my God, can that
Jimmy Stu?
Oh my God, dude, I can't even front. Like I was like, damn, like
that was a rocket.
That was a snipe.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, like it's kind of like
whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like, all right, like you guys lost the game, whatever. You're already out of the playoffs, so
yeah,
there's not much else you can do.
Right. Going back to Jimmy Stu, I mean that's the kind of high end talent we need to acquire.
Yeah, that is. I will say though, that is easier said than done.
Yes.
You know, there's not many. The high end talent that's on the market right now is Claude Giroux. That's the issue.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I mean, we could talk about this later on, but like in the summer, it sounds like Johnny Hockey may be available. It sounds like the Brinkat will be available. Maybe Forsberg. I mean, there are some decent players who are going to be out there.
Yeah, and like I would love to see Johnny Hockey come to Philly.
Yep.
But also like he's what, fifth in points right now.
He's
So
he's
like,
gonna get a bag.
yeah, like how are you like? But like, how is Calgary just gonna be like, yeah, no, we're just gonna let him walk? Like it just makes no sense to me. Like
Right.
I would love to have him, but there's no way. And even then, if they know they're gonna lose him, they're gonna trade away his rights, and those people most likely will get the deal.
Well,
Unless
maybe.
Johnny is just determined to come to Philly to lose,
Yeah.
then that would be the only way it would work.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. It's I don't know about you. I'm kind of in the blow it up and tank
Oh yeah,
thing.
I'm in the same boat. Trade JVR, trade Provy, trade. Well, you have to keep either one of Sanheim or Provy, and my vote's for you have to keep Sanheim.
Right.
But other than that, like Provy, JVR, Braun, get it TK, get rid of as many of the like core guys as you can, get as much as you can back for them. Like let guys like Cam York, let him take the
Yeah.
reins for the defense for a little bit and just see how it works. I mean,
He had a nice goal last night, jumping up
he
into
had a good.
play,
He did.
getting the rebound.
Sanheim, same thing, jumping up
Oh
into
my god, yeah.
play. Yeah, but yeah, no.
When
Other than
Sanheim's moving his legs, man, it's like night and day. Like
it
he's
is, it is, and like
yep.
it sucks. He's been playing with an anchor like Ristolainen all season.
Yep. Yeah, that contract is not going to be too friendly for us. I do think though,
No.
like say we're bad again, because like we were just talking about blowing it up. I want them to blow it up, but it's very obvious they're not going to blow it up. They're going to
Yeah,
be
no,
doing this
they're gonna
retool.
retool.
Yeah. But like let's say we are bad next year and Chuck does well, Chuck will probably be fired, but and they let's just say they're bad next year, they decide to blow it up. I think they could trade that contract. I don't think I think some GM is dumb enough and would be willing to take that on.
See, the only like he doesn't have a no movement clause, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I guess you could, but it's also you're at the very least retaining some of that salary.
You think?
You have to. I think so. Otherwise, you're just not going to get a good return. You're
Hmm.
definitely not going to get what we spent on them.
Oh god, no.
Yeah,
Not with 5 years or whatever.
no. And that's another thing. The term is what kills it too. Teams don't want that. Like teams like
Mm,
Risto, but like they don't want that kind of term.
right. I but what I'm saying is like maybe some team would have given him that contract if he hit free agency.
Oh, he absolutely would have. He's a big
That's
body.
why I think it's a tradable contract. I don't think it's
He's
gonna weigh us down if
but no, but see, it's. I feel like it's different though because free agency contracts are always inflated, and then you can never get rid of those contracts.
yeah, that's
Like
true.
Andrew McDonald would have hit free agency. He got 5 mil. Obviously, like that's a much different case than Risto, but like you still couldn't trade that contract.
Right.
Like
No, I get what
players
you're
just
saying. I
yeah,
think GMs think highly of Risto, and I don't know why. Well, I do. It's
yeah.
big right-handed.
He's a big right-handed shot. That's it. If
Yep,
he was a left-handed shot, he wouldn't be making this money. No way.
2 million max,
Yeah.
max. All right, so let's jump over to last night's game. The captain Claude Giroux. We were both in attendance. We were sitting in the club box. What a night! We got there early, watched some warm ups. Did you end up getting one of them grilled cheeses?
No, I didn't. I didn't.
I didn't
But
either.
it's
They ran out.
no.
I was upset.
I'm not gonna. I mean, like, I just have real bad experience with grilled cheese. Like,
Oh, okay.
I had it when I was like sick one time, and then I just and like I threw up and I can't eat it anymore. It's just one of the.
Oh man.
It's like when you drink and you can't drink a certain alcohol anymore because of just like how bad it was. Um, but yeah, and also like if I'm going to a game, I'm not getting grilled cheese. I love G, but I'm not getting grilled
I
cheese.
wanted to try it. I was curious, and I'm also a simp for grilled cheese. But we're in line, and he's like, "Ah, they ran out." I was like, "Really? Like
Come on,
that's
like
yeah."
this
How do
is
you run out of grilled cheese? It's bread and
yeah,
cheese. You just cook it up.
literally. Um, but yeah, no. Honestly, like one of the and honestly, like as I said, I've been a Flyers fan for like 10 years. it's not comparing it to much, but it's probably one of the most fun games I've ever been to.
Yep.
Like, definitely the loudest I've heard that building in a while. I woke up this
A
morning,
while.
my ears were still ringing. I am really mad at anybody that left before G took his like final
Oh, yep.
skate.
The salute.
Oh my god. Anybody that left during the stadium, like you're an asshole. Like
Yeah.
you're just not. No.
No, I agree. That's like a historic night that like you had to be there,
Yeah.
man.
Literally. I was trying to get so many of my friends to go and they just like, nah, dude, sorry, I can't pay that price tag. I'm like, yeah, but how many
That was
times do
some
you
of
get
my
to
friends
see?
too. I know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like I actually got choked up like watching
Oh,
it.
really?
I'm not an emotional person by any means, but
Right.
I got a little choked up.
Yeah.
Um
I was worried I was gonna get like that, but I didn't.
yeah,
I don't know.
I
I
just
remember I did when Ryan Howard's last game, 2016.
yeah.
Cried 3 different times.
But
But yeah, I mean that was a historic night, and like they did it right. I wish they would have gone back earlier in the season. I wish they would have treated the Holmgren and Tocchet ceremony somewhat similar.
oh, 100%. And it's a shame that they weren't. But I also feel like they kind of learned from that, and
Yeah,
that's why there was the big push for G. Um, and obviously, like he's arguably the greatest player in the franchise. Arguably, I'm not gonna. We can get into that if you want. Um, but it's also like you show that kind of respect to some of your best players. You just have to.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it is a shame, but also like kind of glad that it did end up working out so well for G because the man is just like busted his ass for us for so long, and unfortunately we weren't able to. He dragged them to mediocrity. Like
for a long
that's
time.
literally that was. I don't want to say it was all him, but it was a lot. It was a lot of just
It
him.
was mostly him. I mean, the one year it was pretty much him, rookie Ghost, and Steve Mason and
Yep.
Zimmer, like
For the most
carrying
for the most part, it was G, Simmer, and Jake.
Jakey. Yeah, couple good years from Mace and Ghost, but covering Umberger, like Avalier,
Oh
McDonald,
my
Van de
god.
Velde.
Oh my god.
We've had some real bums here the last 10 years.
I will. I saw a tweet and I can't like disagree with it at all. Like I will never forgive this team for doing that to him.
Oh, I
Like that's
know.
terrible.
Yep.
Like you had,
What makes me mad is that like I drank the Kool-Aid. I was down for Hextall's plan. I'm like, all right, we're gonna retool on the fly here,
I
and
think we all were. I like,
yeah,
and dude, like not for nothing. We were all drinking the Kool Aid. I feel like this off season, like
no
I
doubt,
was
yeah,
in. I was like, oh, dude, they went out. They got Cam Atkinson. They got a guy who can score. They got a number one defenseman, and I think there's something to that. Like this team, like could have been really good. Um, like if everyone stayed healthy all season, two, if they didn't get in a hole early and then just kind of quit on AV.
yeah,
And then by the time AV left, it was kind of like, all right, well, we've already dug ourselves this huge hole. We're not going to be able to get out of it. And Yo kind of just came into a bad situation, and now we're where we're at.
Do you like
Like,
Mike Yo?
no, no.
No.
I mean,
I would like him back as an assistant because
yeah,
all the guys love him. And I think you need an assistant like that, but as a head coach, no, I'm not with
yeah,
that. And
no,
it sounds like they're not going to bring him back as a head anyway, but
yeah. If they did, they'd be insane. But
yeah,
if he like, I was fine with him as a defensive coach. Like, obviously, like the defense didn't do too great this year, but like they've also had success. Like there was a system, there was a way that this defense could have worked. The biggest issue is after Ryan Ellis went down, you didn't have a number two.
yeah,
Ivan Provorov should be your number two.
I agree.
Ivan Provorov's not a number one defenseman. He's a number two. And he can play the number 1 minutes. He's got no issue with that, but he needs a solid partner to play with all night. And like Justin Braun's good. He can eat up minutes, but he's not a number one defenseman.
No,
You
not
can't
even
put him out.
close.
You can't put him out against top lines and expect everything to be okay. Risto, same thing. You can't put him out against like maybe he can hold his own against like a good checking line, but like other than that, like he'll go for a hit, put himself out of the play. Oh, and like okay, now Sandy's got to cover a 2-on-1. Like it's
Yeah.
just not. You can't. There was a system. There was a way that this defense could have worked, and it had to be Ellis and Provorov on the top line, Sanheim and Risto Shore on the second line, and Braun and Yandel kind of like offsetting each other
Yeah.
on the third line. Like Braun's good on defense, Yandel's good on offense. Nothing else.
That was a
And
very good pair the first 5 or so games of the season,
it
Yandel,
was.
Braun.
It was.
And then
And
they
then
put
how
him with Sealer and like
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
curious if Yandel's actually cooked or not. Like he's been terrible this year, but like he's playing with a
See,
guy who should not be anywhere close to the
that's what I
NHL.
mean. Like everyone, like, yeah, and I get it. Like, everyone's mad. Everyone's looking for kind of like a scapegoat. Keith Yandel's not the problem. Like
No.
he's like you said, he's getting put with terrible people. If he got put with Justin Braun, and if like the defense as a whole, like for the most part, stayed healthy all year, I don't think anyone would be batting an eye. Another
Yeah.
thing, they took him off the power play for a while. I feel like that hurt too.
Yep. He needs his
Um,
touches. He's one of them guys who like he wants to play with the puck and that gets him into the
e-
game.
exactly. He was a good pickup. You just have to use him in the right situations.
Yeah.
And again, it just goes back to the injuries. If there was just too much going wrong for the defense for him to like succeed at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you bring him back next year, you're just gonna be like, it's just gonna be a riot. Like people are gonna be like, oh, why? Like this makes no sense. And honestly, like he shouldn't come back. Not for like because he's bad, but like, dude, like just go be a good defenseman somewhere else. Like I said, he's good in in like the right situations.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if let's say Provy does come back, I mean, you probably just want to line up Provy, Sanheim, York
Oh yeah,
if
100%.
if everyone comes back.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I think one of Sanheim or Provy are going.
I think it's going to be Provy. We've
I think
talked
it's
about
gonna be
that off
Provy.
cam. It's
Yeah, yeah,
all the Provorov speculation that came out recently. It sounds like it's all true. So
yeah. So, which is a shame. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It's and there's some truth to that. I feel like like I have no issue with Provy. Like I always know he always like kind of gave his all for the team, but I mean, if he can't take criticism and if he's going to be, I mean, he never should have been on the top power play unit to begin with. He's not a good, he can't keep the line and he can't get a shot through.
right.
Like
And his puck skills. I mean, he just bobbles the puck like it's a
he
grenade. It's
does. He
insane.
does. I will give him all the credit in the world. Like every time I go to a game and I watch him skate, and I'm like, God, I want to be able to skate like that.
Right.
But like his puck handling is just not there. I feel like it has like when he came into the league, yeah, sure. But I think after he had that shoulder injury, it hasn't been the same. I don't
Huh.
know if that's just me that's noticed that, but I feel like it's just been except because like I remember it was really bad when he had that shoulder injury in the playoffs.
Yeah, against the Penguins, I remember that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it ever really because he works himself to death. I don't know if he ever really like
He
was
doesn't.
able to recover it.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's interesting. Did you see that? It was a couple of months ago. There was like a thread on Twitter about they were talking about the same thing, but they were saying Provorov uses a shorter stick now. Did you
no,
see that?
I didn't see
That
that.
that
That
is that is true. He does use a shorter stick than he used to.
okay. Yeah, there could be something to that then. Yeah, for sure. If
Maybe
you're
maybe
used to your go ahead.
I was saying maybe don't be so stubborn and go back to your
Oh,
old longer
yeah.
stick.
Yeah. Like as a defenseman, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to play with a longer stick. Like you
Yeah,
don't want it shorter.
right. He
Um,
seems to think it gives him better control of the puck.
well,
It's
buddy.
yeah, cringe.
Yeah. Ooh.
So going
Uh,
back to G, I mean, he's probably my favorite player all time besides Danny Briere. I'm curious what your favorite Giroux moment is, and maybe talk about the career and legacy he's had.
see, it's tough because I feel like the one, and I feel like it's just because it's like kind of the one I feel like everyone's gonna point to. It's just got to be that first shift against the Penguins in the playoffs where he just nails Crosby.
Yep.
You know, there's that little brief play stoppage. He's got the crowd already going into it. And then he comes down ice with Yogs and then snipes one top corner and then just gets the crowd going.
Yeah, that was so
Like
electric.
I was watching that at home and I'm like, oh my God, like this is like I was into it. And that
Yeah.
was like the playoff series where everything was just like, and there was a fight every other game,
Yep.
and it was just like,
Every other
oh my God,
shift.
every other shift. There was like line brawls all the time. It was just like and then he follows up the game-winning game with that after telling Lavi, he's like, no, I'm starting this game.
Yep.
Like the only other thing that I could kind of there were two goals that I was thinking of last night, like during the game. The first one was the one that had like that the equipment staff gave like the picture of him at the Stadium Series game where he's
Oh, yep.
doing the like, are you not entertained? Like
Yeah.
that could like also because it was just like the culmination of just like this huge comeback in the link in the
Yeah.
rain. It was just like, wow, like that's a good ending. And then the other one was that like insane backhand goal that he scored against Columbus. Again, like falling to the ice, Colton like capping off a comeback. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
shit.
was at that game. That was
Were
another
you?
big comeback. Yeah, and that was back when like I used to only go to like one game a year. We chose that
Yeah.
one because we wanted to see Bob. I don't think Bob played that game; he was hurt. But we bought
That
tickets
figures.
because we wanted to see Bob. And then yeah, they were down 3-1 or 4-1, whatever it was, and then a big comeback, and he scores that crazy goal. And then were you at the game at the link?
I was not. I was at a friend's house watching it. I was
Okay. I went to that game with my uncle, and we bought expensive tickets, so we didn't get rained on. We had cover over
okay.
top of us, and then we got all these Flyers fans leaving around us after Moose let in a bad goal. It was like off his glove or
Oh
something, and
yeah.
it went behind him. And then yeah, that's. I think my favorite G moment is the shift against Pittsburgh, but the
It's
two
gotta
you
be.
mentioned, it's yeah. What another one 2012 game 1, round 2 against the Devils, he just had a sick one-time goal against
Oh yeah.
Brodeur.
Oh yeah.
That one always
I
sticks
think it
out
was this
too.
that was the same year.
Yep,
I think that was the
the
playoff
next
series
round.
after the yeah. And then I think they won that first game and then they lost out. They went oh I think they lost 4-1 in that series,
Yeah, that was
which
rough. I
is that
remember
was
yeah, Briz choked, Lavi was getting out coached, and I love Lavi, but
yeah.
that wasn't good, and then I think a couple defensemen got hurt. It's a shame because I really thought, like, we had a shot that year. After we knocked out Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah. Especially because like I think it's just because of that series, like you just felt like, oh, like this team is electric. They're really
Mhm.
firing on all cylinders. Um, yeah, dude, I don't know. Like there are a lot to choose from, but I don't know. Like the shootout goal against Toronto, that's another one.
Yep.
Um, yeah, dude, I don't know. Like I
He had
couldn't.
a nice he's well, he split the defenders in Tampa a
I was
couple
at that
years
game.
ago. Oh, no way. In
I was at
Tampa?
that in Tampa. I was at my so my uncle and I we go obviously before COVID we tried to do like a trip every year. We went and watched the Flyers play. Um like I saw them play their first game in Vegas. I saw
Oh, wow.
them play in Anaheim and San Jose. Sat behind the bench in San Jose. That was cool.
I remember
Um
seeing you on TV that night.
yeah. Oh shit, it's Kevin.
Right.
uh, but yeah, no, and then we went and saw I've seen them play in Sunrise in Tampa. And G just comes down, splits the defense on McDonough, and I just like, oh my god, like that is amazing. I looked at my uncle, I was like, I need to go to church. I feel I feel bad. I feel bad.
What year was that? Was that 1819 or was that 1920? Do you remember?
I think that was 1819 because I went in 1920 and AV was the coach because I remember I was behind the bench and I remember
Right.
AV like pointing at me. He's like, "Oh, what's up, guys?" And it's like, "Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
my god."
I remember going back to that 1920 Western road trip, I mean, they got pumped,
Oh
and
God,
then
yeah.
they were having a pretty good season, and then a lot of fans started like, "Oh, this team, same old team, they suck." And I'm like, "Nah, just bad road trip.
All right,
Give
all
them a
right,
shot
yeah,
here."
dude. Literally that. All right, so here's I'm gonna get heated. So that one, so they only had two bad road trips, and the one was after like literally like Lindblom got the cancer diagnosis like that day,
Yeah,
and they were in Minnesota, and they just got like railed. And like you're not gonna play well after hearing that kind of news. Like you're just not. Like
yeah.
there's just no way. And then you go for whatever reason every time they go on like the Disney on Ice trip, like over like
Oh, I
Christmas
know.
or New
Yeah.
Year's,
Yep.
they just suck. I don't know if it's
Yep.
like all the Christmas leftovers or what, or there's like, but they just always suck.
Right.
And
We gotta find a way to ban Mickey Mouse or something. I mean, what the hell is that?
yeah,
Because you're right. It's every single year.
every year. So, but other than that, they dominated that whole year.
Yeah.
Like even right before the pause, I remember we were on like I think we went on like an 7 or 8 game winning streak, and then we
Yeah. I think it was
lost.
10 or something. 10, 11.
I don't think it moved. I think it was going to. I think it was almost at 10, but then we lost to Boston. But
Right. I remember that.
we outplayed them
Yep.
so much. It's just Tuukka Rask was just way too good, and he just stole the game for Boston. And then like the game after was when COVID hit,
Yep.
and then
Yeah. I remember that game too because Ghost came back from knee surgery and he played his ass off, but
yeah, he
oh,
did.
we didn't win. So
Yeah,
I guess AV thought, we can't win with this guy or whatever the
yeah,
hell. That still frustrates me. I'm a
it
big
is.
Ghost guy.
Oh, dude, like I'm just so that was when I was working at NBC. I told all my supervisors, I was like, "Yo, you watch out for this team. Like this team's gonna win the division. This
Yeah.
team's going to the cup every year. AV has a new team. He goes to the cup
Yeah.
every year. He's first year he goes to the cup, and I do think we would have. I think we had Washington's number. Because I looked at and I even looked at the schedule that year. I remember. And I was like, God damn, like we just have like this insane schedule coming up. And Washington had it easy. And we were out playing everybody. And like Washington was like struggling. We
Yeah.
would have
We were hot at the right time.
I have no doubt in my mind we would have overtaken Washington and we would have won the division.
I did. Yep.
Absolutely no doubt in my
Completely
mind.
agree.
Yep.
Completely agree.
But yeah.
So going back to G here, I think we should talk about we got the trade deadline coming up Monday. So so last night I put out that tweet on Nasty Knuckles. Like we mentioned earlier, I do a lot of stuff with them. And so we're at the game together, and Derek Settlemeyer's with us, and he got a text from a very reliable source that trade's going down tonight. He's coming to Florida. So we ran with it and wake up this morning, and everyone's like, no, Colorado's still in it. So I don't know if that's maybe we got a bad beat. Maybe Colorado came in last second with some huge offer and Chuck's weighing his options, or maybe they're just taking their time, and or Chuck could be playing the media and just trying to get a bigger offer from Florida.
Yeah, I mean any one of those things could be true.
Yeah.
Um I've wanted G to go to Florida like all year. Like once I saw the wheels coming off the the train here, I was like, all right, like G's not gonna stick around. And I got it. I want him to go win a cup. I want him so bad to win a cup. Um, but I was just looking at how good Florida was playing, and I'm like, man, it would just be so much fun to watch him play in Florida.
Yep.
Like with just Barkov, Huberto, Bennett, Verhage, like all these
Duclair,
like
Verhage. Yep.
really exactly like there's just so much talent down there. And not that like Colorado doesn't have the talent. I just feel like one, it would be more fun to watch G in Florida. Two, I just feel like he fits better in that system of
That's
just like
interesting.
this more creative style. I mean, like Colorado will hammer you till your lights are out, and like they have the skill to back it up. But I just feel like I don't know, like Florida's just got that more creative play style, and I feel like that just fits G's game a lot better, in
Yeah,
my opinion.
and saying that both are like dynamic offensively, I don't know if Colorado has the sandpaper for the playoffs. I
Oh
have
no,
my doubts about that.
yeah, and like not to mention the goaltending. I do not have any confidence in that goaltending at all. Like,
I do like Kemper. I was actually shocked how slow he started. If he can stay healthy, I personally think he's a good goalie, but
I do not have any confidence in their goaltending whatsoever. I I really obviously I like Bob. I think Spencer Knight's having a bit of a rough year, but I still like overall in terms of like promise, like I think he's really good.
yeah.
Um, like I don't know, like I feel better. I personally think Florida's just a better suited team.
Mhm.
Like you said, you don't think Colorado has the sandpaper for the playoffs. I agree. I think Florida is bigger, they're more creative, and I feel like honestly they might pack more of a punch.
Yeah.
Not in terms of physical, but in terms of like we're gonna outskate you and we're gonna like look really good doing it. Like, and I just like I said, I feel like that just fits G's game so much better. So like,
Is there anybody you want in return and specifically? I know Owen Tippett's a big rumor going around. Does he interest you?
I mean, it's just kind of the issue is like Florida went out and like did so much that they have like nothing left. So
Right.
like obviously I want them to go to I want him to go to Florida. That's where I want him to go. I'll take whatever they give us, honestly. Like obviously I want to get the best deal out of it. Um I saw it was like what's his name? Mackey something. I hadn't heard of him. It was their first round pick last year. It was like Owen
Okay.
Tippett,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mackey something, I forget, and then a pick is the deal I was seeing. Um,
I think
but
I read Samo. I
I
think
was
I read
text
Tippett and Samo. No picks involved.
I sent it to my I was talking to my buddy about it earlier.
It's a shame our
Mackey,
source couldn't give us any names last night.
yeah, really. That was the one thing I was like, oh, who we getting? Who we getting? Who we
Right.
getting? Um, Mackey Samoskevich. That was their first round pick last year.
Okay.
That so and he plays in
Oh, it's
Michigan.
Sammy.
Mackey Samoskevich.
Okay.
So he played in Michigan with York. Well, I don't know if he played with York because I think he's a freshman this year. But there's still that Michigan connection between him and York.
Right.
So I think that would be a good add. He's doing really well for his freshman year too,
Huh.
which is another. I think he's got like 26 points in 36 games or something, which like for college is pretty good.
Yeah.
Owen Tippett, I'm just kind of like,
I know. I don't know why. Every time I think of him, I think of Daniel Sprong. Remember, Pittsburgh drafted him, was
yeah,
supposed to be this great sniper, and then never
I could
worked. He went to
I could see it.
Washington.
I mean, it's see the issue like so yeah, he's like he was picked in the top 10, but he was picked in the top 10 of the 2017 draft. And that's not like oh god, look at this draft. Like you had Kale McCarr, I think that was the Miro Heiskanen draft. Other than that, there's not really a lot of like
Yeah,
big
three,
name
four, five.
talent.
Uh, Heiskanen, McCarr, Pedersen,
Yeah.
and then
And
we,
even
we took Patty.
yeah, exactly. And but that's what I mean. After that, like, okay. We picked I think that was also the Morgan Frost draft. So like,
Yeah.
okay, great. We got these two guys. Yay. Like, yeah.
I know. I used to think like that was the draft that was going to change our franchise, and holy shit, was
Yep.
I wrong?
I I wanted I so that was the day my high school was graduating. I was like, oh no, I want to stay home. I don't care about graduation. I want to stay home, watch him pick second overall. And
Yeah.
then my mom's like, no, you have to go. I'm like, all right, fine. But yeah, no. And then it's not. I did try to sneak my headphones in so I could listen though, and it didn't work.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but no, it's yeah.
I remember I was mini golfing and my buddy texted me, "Congrats on second overall." I'm like, "The hell are you talking
Yeah,
about?"
what are you
And
talking about?
go on Twitter, Flyer. They didn't win the draft lottery, but they went from 12 to 2 or whatever it
Oh
was.
yeah,
And
dude. I was like, oh, dude, like this is amazing. And I
yeah,
thought we had it set up too because I was like, oh, we don't even have to worry about picking the right player. Where it's
right.
gonna be either like Nico or Patrick. And I was like, this is great. And
I know.
then
I was so hyped. I used to watch a little bit of junior hockey back then, and I really haven't since. It's like
yeah, no, I don't.
it's almost like destroyed my brain just from the disappointment. But I was like, man, I hope the Devils take Nico because I loved Patty. And then
I was the other way around. I wanted Nico because I
okay,
felt like he was the more of the goal scorer that we needed.
hmm
And I mean, like Nico's fine in New Jersey,
yeah,
like, but it's Patty was just
he's
wrong.
our number one overall pick.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, like McCarr should have just went over like McCarr should have been number one,
Yeah,
hundred
looking
percent.
back, 100%. Yep.
Yeah, but obviously, like hindsight's 2020. I'm not gonna get like super upset. Like Bob Clark can say like, "Oh yeah, they wanted McCarr all they want." I don't believe it. Like that was like
I
no,
was told half the room was split on Miro and half the room wanted Miro and half the room wanted Patty. No one even wanted McCarr.
yeah, that's a like. I feel like that was just like him saying because nobody likes Hextall anymore. I feel like that was
Yeah,
just
that
him like,
was Clarky
"Oh
trying to
yeah,
save
no,
his boy Chuck.
we're smart. We wanted McCarr, but this guy didn't want him."
Yeah.
And it like unfortunately just because of everything that came out about Hexy, like with him like locking himself in his office or whatever and not listening to anybody, buddy, like all right, then like that's viable. But like I don't believe it. I feel like that's just them doing damage control in a lost season, especially when McCarr is like making a good case to be the Norris this year.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, it's a shame. Like Owen Tippett would. I'm just like I'll take whatever you give me at this point.
Yeah,
Just
that's
take my
interesting.
just take my guy G, let him win his cup, and then like if he wants to come home, he can come home. If he wants to stay in Florida and actually like be on a winning team for once, then I don't blame him.
No,
I
that
would
makes
love
sense.
I would
I
love for
wanted
him. Go ahead.
go okay. I really wanted G to go to Colorado when this all started coming out because I really like that Bowen Byram kid. But he
Bowen
was like
Byram is really good.
yeah, he was like way off the table. We're not trading him. So that disappointed me. So then this would have been awful to see, but I kind of wanted him to go to Boston because I thought
Oh,
there was a fit there. Like
you asshole!
I know,
Like,
but I thought there was a fit there because I think they're like a second line center away from being like a really good team. And then
see,
DeBrusk still wants out. So like, all right, we're doing this quick retool. All right, maybe DeBrusk can help us. Throw in your first round pick next year because I don't know if Boston's going to be good next year. They're getting older. So
yeah.
I thought that was a fit. But yeah, that would have been awful to see him in a Boston jersey.
I see. I think Boston's a one line team. I think they have the best first line in the league with uh Marshawn, Patrice, and Pasta. Like, but other
Well,
than that,
most
like
of this season, Pasta's played second line, and they've been swapping DeBrusk and Smith on that top right wing spot.
really,
Yeah.
then they're stupider than I thought. Then they like seriously, you
Well,
had
think
like
of
the
this.
best first. Oh no, I get the spreading out offense thing. I do, but like but when you have the best line in hockey, like I don't like it. Just doesn't make sense to me that like even if you're trying to spread out your offense, it doesn't make sense to me to split them up.
Right. No, I get that, but I'm just thinking like your first line's Marchand, Patrice, and Smith, and then your second line's Hall, Giroux, Pasta. I mean
Oh, it would be
that's a
insane.
gross top six. And then third line you got Charlie Coyle and Halla. Like I don't know. I think that team could do damage. They got a lot of
It
young
could. It's
defensemen
just,
who are they're better than I thought they were.
but then like I mean, you got Charlie McAvoy. Just the defense that just the defense that like is like and then isn't Tuca
Tuca's
come
done.
back? Tuca
He's
is
done.
done. Okay, I thought I saw that, but I
Swayman's
wasn't
been
100%
elite.
sure. Has he?
Swayman's been amazing.
All right, but like I said, the defense is just like kind of touch and go, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like you have McAvoy, and then that's kind of it. Um, but it's yeah.
I think they have a lot of no name guys, but I think they've played pretty well this year. I think Boston, if it's not going to be G as we know at this point, but if they could somehow
Yeah.
find a second line center this deadline, I think they could be really good. And
You-
talking about the deadline Monday, we already touched on G. Is there anyone else you think may get traded from the Flyers?
About half the roster, I could make a case for them getting rid
Right.
of. Um,
But
I mean,
what do you think they could do?
it would depend. It's kind of like who's in the market. Like the big name to me that jumps off the page would be JVR.
Hmm.
But I also just don't know. I mean, like we could retain the salary and it's fine, but like I also don't know who really wants JVR because like obviously like all goal scorers are like they go on their hot streaks and then when they're cold they're really cold.
Yeah.
But like JVR, I feel like is that to like the max.
Especially this year. This year he's been
Yeah,
you can't defend him. It's been bad.
no. So like, and I get it. Like I'm fine with goal streakers being scory. Cam Atkinson's been one of the best players on the team this year. He's had hot streaks and cold streaks. Joel
Mhm.
Farabee, cold streaks and hot streaks. When JVR is on, he's on for like 3 or 4 games. When he's cold, he's off for like 15.
Yeah.
And it's just not, so that's who I kind of want to go, and obviously he's not going to get re-signed, so it's not a huge deal.
I think
But
we could probably do what we did with Ghost and trade him to Arizona because they only got 6 guys under contract next season, and then no one's going to sign there because they're playing in a
oh
college
yeah,
university
yeah,
stadium. Like,
no, genuinely,
so they're going to have to acquire guys with term.
yeah. So I mean, I get like, but I feel like JVR could be like a good piece for a team like trying to make a push to be a contender, cuz like I mean like he's a good body to have in the net, in front of the net on a power play. Um especially
See,
like
I used to agree. I don't agree anymore. I think he's done. Like, I used to
see,
think, all right, power play one specialist and put him on your like third line left wing, he'll be fine. But this year, it's just
but that, I
maybe
mean like
he's just not engaged. But
well so
I can't defend him this season.
the whole like power play unit hasn't been engaged. They've tried so many different things and it just doesn't work. Like I also just that I feel like it's also coaching. Like they had Michelle Therrien coaching the power play, who like clearly didn't understand how this like our team worked. He
Right.
was having G and Jake like on the offside like for like the better part of like a year and a half, and every time they switched back, G would score a goal every
Right.
time. So I feel like that's like I'm not gonna put all of that on JVR, but at the same
No,
time,
I think the
like
power play is terrible. Like, I think entering the zone is probably their biggest issue on the power play.
oh
But
yeah.
I mean, they don't have a bumper presence. Like, I don't think JVR is that good in front of the net. Like, when's the last time you just seen him tip in a wrist shot? Like, he's got one this year. Like, I
When's the
think
last
there's a
time
million
that
problems.
oh no, 100%. But I also like on the like in a good system, I feel like he could like he's not gonna be good on a team like the Flyers right now on the power play, because the Flyers don't have a lot of power play talent going right now. Like you have Patrick, like I like Patrick McEwen, but you've got Patrick McEwen on your power play.
Yeah,
Like you're not gonna score goals with him on your power play. I'm
no,
sorry. So
he's a
like I feel
fourth
like
line enforcer, and that's
exactly.
he does his
And
job. He does it well, but that's what he is.
exactly.
Stop.
He can play up in the lineup if he has to. And he can do okay. He's not like gonna drive any play.
No, he can skate a little. He
Yeah.
can skate, but
But other than that, he's not, you don't put, see, the only one like, and I feel like it was just like a fluke. Ryan White was the only one where I was like, all right, yeah, you guys can do that. Yeah. And
I
like,
loved Whitey.
oh dude, he was so, oh, I loved it.
He was
I
good at tipping pucks.
he was good. He was really good in front of the net. He was
Yep.
our leading, see, oh god, he was our leading scorer in that one playoff series against
Against
Washington.
Wash. Yep.
That was bad. Oh yeah, no. But
That was
yeah,
rough. I remember Coots either did that series or he played very limited, and we got
yeah,
stomped. I mean,
we did.
Mace was bad. Neuwirth, I hated Neuwirth, but
Neuwirth
Neuwirth
was
brought us back.
amazing. He was
Yep.
amazing. Um, I
He
wrote
somehow
to
kept us alive game 4 and 5.
yep. See, I feel like Neuwirth was good. He just like couldn't ever stay healthy. Like he was a
Okay.
very,
I,
very, very athletic goalie, like,
yeah.
but just could never stay healthy.
Yeah, a lot of people think that. I just never thought he was that good, even when healthy. I don't know.
Mm. I feel like him and Mace were a pretty good tag team. Again, when healthy.
Yeah.
But
That first year, he was great for us.
oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
forget, that was 15-16 Ghost rookie year, and
Yep.
then Mace got hot at the end of the year. So going back to the trade deadline, I mean, what do you think? What do you think about Braun, Broussard,
Braun's gone.
Martin
Braun's gotta be
Jones?
gone. Braun's a good piece, again, for like a team. 'Cause, like, Braun's got that playoff experience. He's steady. Like
Mhm.
he's just, you know what you're gonna get. You can throw him out there on your third pair, and like, all right, he can hold his own. It's like I said, it's just when he's here and when the top line's injured, he gets tossed up there and he just can't handle it. You put him on your third pair is gonna do just fine.
Yep.
Like, and like I said, you could probably get like a, if the team's desperate, you might be able to get a second out of them. Or if there's just kind of like two team, kind of like what happened with Giroux. You got two teams in a bidding war, you might be able to drive the price up. Honestly, probably worth about a third round pick, in my opinion. You could
hmm
probably get a second for him if there's a couple of teams interested. Um, Braun's gone. I don't see a market for Broussard, honestly. I just like with his injury history, he's been in and out all year. He hasn't really done anything.
I actually
I
like Brass. I thought that Farabee, Atkinson, Broussard line. I thought that was a really good line this year
It was
when he was
but it was like,
healthy.
but it was so like it was so short lived. And obviously, like I said, we said before, like everyone's streaky, but like I don't know, it's just like he hasn't really been that good since. To me, at the
Okay.
very least, yeah, he was pretty good last night, but I just don't really see a market for him. Is my thing,
Okay.
like
If
because
if I was if I was like Edmonton or something, like yo, I'll give you a seventh, retain half his salary. And maybe he goes for more than that, but like I don't know. I like Brass. I would check in.
see, to check in, yeah, I could see that. Or like, all right, like here's a sweetener. Like, okay, like so if you pair Braun and Brass, and you're like, all right, give me a second and a third. Like, all right, you get a good borderline third line center,
Yeah.
and you get a good third pair defense. You give me like a second and a third, second and a fourth. I could see that, but
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't see anyone going out of the way like I want Derek Brassard. That guy can play hockey.
That's
But
how I feel about Martin Jones the longer they hold on to him.
yes, yes, I agree.
I think everyone's saying it's a seller's market, but I'm worried the longer they hold on to him and more goalies start to become available, it's like, okay, well, why don't we go get him instead of Martin Jones? And you
Yeah,
know what? I've liked Martin Jones. I think he's been a solid backup, nothing great, but he hasn't been bad. I don't
yeah, he
think.
hasn't been bad. He hasn't been great. Um, I think like now is like the best opportunity you're gonna get to get something out of him. And I'm also like at this point, like the season's over for us. Like it's
Mhm.
just there's nothing to play for. Let Sandstrom come up and play some games. Let Hart kind of just I'll say I don't want to say recover because he's not really like hurt, but like let him kind of take it easy because there's no reason for him to play his ass off right now.
Mhm.
Like let him kind of recuperate. Same thing with what they're doing with Coots and Ellis and what they should have been doing with Hayes. Just let them take the year off. There's nothing worth coming back for right now anyway. Just let Sandstrom come in, kind of get some experience coming. And then maybe if he does well, okay, maybe you look at him as a backup option next year. And then you kind of just go from there. Because if you have your in-house goalie become your backup, then that's less money you have to spend in free agency.
Mhm. Yeah,
And it
I don't want to
goes.
like I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but like, and this is way ahead, but do you have a preference for who's backup next year? Do you have any names in mind?
I'd have to look and see who's available. I think I looked and I didn't like a lot of the names. Is Dell available? I really like Aaron Dell as a backup.
What I'm thinking, I want them to give one of the kids a shot, whether that's
Oh
Sandstrom,
yeah.
Fedotov,
Samuel Urson
Sandstrom,
would be
Fedotov, Ursan.
Samuel
Who's the other
Urson
one?
would be the one.
Ustamenko.
Ustamenko would be all right. I could live with that. But like if I had to pick one, I would pick Urson. But I also don't know if he's ready to come over yet.
Okay.
So if I had to pick, it'd be Ustamenko or Sandstrom, and that would be my preference. Like I mean, like we know that they're going to be bad next year.
Mhm.
We know it. Front office for some reason doesn't know it.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to go out and sign some backup, but I don't like. I would prefer Sandstrom because I feel like not for nothing. We also just kind of have to know. Like, is he it? Like, can we, or at the very least, can we use him, get another piece or like another draft pick, and
Mhm.
then fall back on one of our other goalie prospects? Urson's the best one out of the.
I like that Fedotov kid who played for
He's
Russia in
good.
the Olympics.
Yeah,
I see something in him.
I think he could absolutely be good, but I still like. I feel like Urson's just got the best.
Ceiling.
Also, the best ceiling, the best track record right now.
Okay.
Like so, and I feel like that would be a good tag team duo between Hart and Urson. And then if one of like I feel like Fedotov and Sandstrom and Ustamenko, at least one of them's not working out, but you can at least use them in a deal and get something back for
Yeah.
sure. Because you can
No,
only
that
like,
makes
oh well,
sense.
there's just no spot for him here. He's playing behind Hart and Urson. He's playing behind all these goalies. He's just not going to have a shot. And then you can sell that on some other team and then get something back for him.
No, that makes
So
sense. So
yeah,
let's say they trade Braun. That's going to be a very weak decor. I mean, you're already shorthanded. Oh
well,
my
yeah, I was
lord.
gonna say it's weak anyway. The season's over. That's what like, and everyone says, um, God, I'm stupid. What's this kid's name? The one Russian defenseman that everyone loves. Um, God, the young kid. Oh
Is
my
a
God.
Flyers prospect?
Yeah, Flyers prospect. Everyone loves him. God, what the hell is his name?
Not Emil Andre. He's not Russian.
No. God, I'm dumb. People are gonna be pissed. God, what the hell's his name? Real skinny kid. Everyone
Oh,
loves him.
Zamula. Zamula.
Zamula. Yeah. Eh, I mean, I'm
He's the
honestly not.
skinniest person I've ever seen in my life. It's
Yeah,
nuts. His wrists are
I'm
like I don't have very big arms, but he's smaller than me and he's a pro
yeah.
hockey player. It's insane.
Um I'm not huge on Zamula, but like I also feel like because I know like the Flyers want him to like bulk up and everything. Say kind of like the same thing with Frost. Let him come up, let him sink or swim. That way you at least know what you have. And then
Hmm.
like, all right, well if he's not working out, all right, then I need to go get somebody else. So if they get rid of Braun, I'm not like I said, the season's over. There's really
Where I was
nothing.
going with that is all right. So say you trade Braun, get a third round pick for him, second round pick, whatever. Would you bring him back next season if he was okay with that? Or
I
is he
would,
someone
yeah, I
you
had
just
no
want to
issue with
move on?
Braun.
I like Braun. Like if I had a third pairing of York and Braun next season, and don't get me wrong, I'm 100% trading him and getting a draft pick this year. But if he wanted to come back in the summer, that's something I would explore.
Oh yeah, I said I have no issue with Braun. The only thing, like you said, like he would just have to be open to it, and like for the life of me, I can't imagine why he would be, because like
Yeah,
he's gonna be courting some good offers this season. Like, yeah, he played he played bad. He didn't play. He played for a bad team, and like that dragged his numbers down a little bit. But I don't think anyone's gonna look at him and be like, oh yeah, no, like that's all Braun's fault. Like
hmm
he's gonna have a market. He's gonna have a good market. He's gonna get paid even if it's just a third pair defenseman. Like, and some contenders going to want him because that's
yeah.
a
I mean,
good.
this. He doesn't have many years left, and he's still trying to get a cup.
Exactly. Some
But
contenders going
I
to
would
want him.
call him and hey, you want to come back? Did you like it
Yeah.
enough here?
Yeah. I mean, he re-signed here, so he obviously had
Yeah.
like he saw something in this team, or he at very least like he liked playing here. But I just don't see him being like, oh yeah, no, like I'm going like if he had an offer between Colorado and Philly, even if we offered more money, he would be going to Colorado.
You would
Otherwise, he's
think, yeah.
dumb. He's dumb. But yeah, other than that, like there's like I said, I could go through the whole team and make like a case for it would be a shorter conversation to tell you like who I actually wanted them to keep.
So
Like
do you think they could trade TK or Pro V or like make a big move, or you think they're just going to trade all the rentals?
nah, dude, I could see him trading both of them. Like I
Okay.
like and honestly, I would. Like if you want to even try and get Johnny Hockey, you've got to move at least one of them. Like you cannot have both Johnny Hockey and TK. There's no way.
Hmm.
And like honestly, like trying to think how to put this because like I like TK, I do, but I also feel like he's just too streaky to play for us right now. And like I feel like we're gonna kind of run into the same situation that we ran in with Provorov. We saw how good he can be, so I feel like just the fan because I know that the fans have been harder on him than ever after that season. It was like,
Mhm.
yo, you put up like a shitload of points. Like you have to like hold up your end of the bargain now. We know what you're capable of. And I feel like now he's just gonna get like and like fans still love him, but like you look at TK and you look at Farabee. TK is not having like the greatest year, but he's doing all right. Farabee's having a very similar year.
Mhm.
And of the two, TK is the one taking all the heat. Farabee's
Yeah.
not having anything said about him. And Farabee's been kind of quiet for a while.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just kind of the avenue that we're at. And maybe after TK goes, people will start to get on Farabee a little bit more. But that's just kind of like eh.
I like TK. I would be very careful trading him. And I don't know. Like I know he's not scoring goals and like we all thought he was going to be a goal scorer, but I think he's just getting so unlucky and he's driving play and he's getting scoring chances. Like it might just be a I mean, he wasn't good last year, don't get me wrong, but like seeing him play under AV last year and the first half of this year and then seeing him play under Yo, and Yo's not even a good coach, but like I'd be very careful moving him.
I mean, there's definitely a case to be made for keeping him. But at this point, like I'm just kind of like you gotta kind of like shit or get off the pot with him. Like and it, like not for nothing, if they want to do this retool, then like TK is a good piece to move to try and get something better back.
Yeah. It
Like
sounds like Detroit's interested, New Jersey, Los Angeles.
trying to think, who would I want from? I mean, New Jersey. I don't even want to listen to their offer. There's nobody on their team I really like. Um, I mean, like there's a couple people on Detroit, but nobody that they would part with.
Right.
Maybe Arvidsson from LA. I do really like Victor Arvidsson. Um,
Okay.
or maybe Alex Alafalo. Like I like him.
Yeah. They have a
But
lot of
other
like young bottom
yeah,
six guys who are like starting to rise up now.
exactly. So like I said, there's a case to be made for keeping him. There's a case to be made for getting rid of him. I just like if you want that big end talent like Johnny Hockey, like I don't think you can have both of those guys on that team. They're too kind of like the short, scrappy guy who, puts up points. It's just too similar. I feel like to play on the same team, and
Huh.
it's like especially with the same kind of. I mean, Johnny's gonna get paid, but like TK, like that, those are two very big contracts, and I don't know if you can have both him and Johnny with with how streaky TK is and like how little he puts up compared to Johnny, especially with that paycheck.
Huh. That's interesting. I'm not sure if I agree with it. Like I think if they're on different lines, you could be fine. Like maybe Johnny Hockey, Coots, and Cam, and then Joel. Hopefully they bring in a center, and then PK on your second line.
Well, I mean, you still have Hayes. He can play center. So
I know, but I don't know if he's a second line center on a cup team.
I mean, he was a couple years ago. We
I
were
know,
we
but
were we were contender. We
100%. But like,
Yeah,
was that the real Kevin Hayes? Like, that was the best year of
I
his
think
career.
so.
Like, okay,
I think so. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to doubt that he couldn't get back. Like he's just had injury issues.
right.
Like he was injured all of last season, and he like had to get surgery 3 times this season to even like play. So, like
Like,
you
yeah,
said,
there's no doubt in my mind he'll be better next year than this year. Like this abdominal injury, I feel like as Philly fans we've had to deal with way too much with
oh
G and
yeah,
Ghost and Cartsy and Moose. Like, it's nuts, but I don't know. Sometimes I think, and it's like, all right, I don't know. I don't know.
I got faith in him. I think he's a good second line. He's obviously overpaid, but you had to overpay to get him, so I'm not like upset about that. But yeah, it's honestly like they should have just sat him for the rest of the year. Like just let him get
I
healthy.
I don't agree with that because with that abdominal injury, he's got to break the scar tissue off, or he's going to suck again next year.
So yeah, I mean, yes, you do, but I also don't like. I also just don't want him to hurt it again. Like he can still work his ass off over the summer and get rid of it. Like he would have had ample time to, and he also
Right.
could have gotten that surgery taken care of last season too, because he got it as soon as the
Yeah,
season
looking
ended. He
back,
could have,
you wish.
yeah. Then he might have only needed 2 surgeries instead of 3.
Right.
Like, yeah,
So, do you
but
think anyone else around the league, any big name players, might be on the move? Not counting the Flyers.
again, it'd be one of those. I just have to take a look. Like off the top of my head, I can't think of one like on the spot. Like if you rattled off a couple, I could probably be like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. But like putting on the spot, like I came in like
Okay,
the only
my
one
bad.
that like no, you're good. It's just on the spot. The only one that comes to mind is G. Like because it's just kind of like all that's been talked about, at least in this area, for like the last 3 days. So, um, it's just G and like any other, like you said, just kind of any of the Flyers kind of getting tossed around. Um,
I'm wondering if Nashville ends up trading Forsberg. That sticks out to me. I
I mean,
think I think that front office wants to rebuild, but they're too good to do it.
honestly, I don't understand. Like, why would you want to?
Yeah, it's very
Like,
strange.
there's like they're kind of like a middle of the pack team right now, but there's a lot of building blocks that they could be like, all right, like we're like within striking distance at the very
Hmm.
least. Like if we just add a couple pieces, like this could like honestly getting rid of Arvidsson was stupid.
Yep.
Arvidsson is a great player, and getting rid of him was just like not why. Like why would you do that? It makes no sense.
And I
Um,
like even though that trade hasn't worked out for anybody, like why would you trade Ellis unless you knew he was damaged goods? But
yeah,
even the injuries that he's had this year, he's never had them before.
yeah. So I have no idea. I
It is
and
very
like
strange. I
unless
have heard that um so Phil Kessel, if they can make the money work, Pittsburgh's trying to bring him back and Boston wants him as well. It's pretty much going to be a money thing. And then our old buddy Ron Hextall wants to bring Robert Hag back to it. Well, not bring him back, but Hag to Pittsburgh.
they can have him. Robert
Yeah,
Haig
I know you
is
didn't like him. I wasn't a big fan either.
I mean, it's kind of like again, if you use him in the right situation, he's fine. He's not
He's
gonna
like in my eye, he's a seventh defenseman at best. Like
on a
he's not
good
in
team.
every,
Yeah,
yeah,
on a
like he's
good
not
team,
in
he's a number
every,
7. Yeah.
yeah,
It's not someone that I would be like, I need Robert Haig to make my team complete.
right.
Like, I'm not going out of my way to go for him. Um, Phil Kessel's an interesting case. I'm not the biggest Phil Kessel fan, but like I obviously like I see the value in him. Uh, I absolutely like. I feel like he would be fun in Boston.
Yeah.
I just feel like he would just be a good fit there. I don't want to see Pittsburgh succeed at all anymore. I just no, especially now that Hexy's GM. Like it's yeah. Other than that, sure. Go ahead, Phil. Go for it. Like
Yeah. He
I think
kind
he
of
would
like
be.
we were talking about JVR. Like I wonder if Phil, like, obviously he's not the player he was, but like you get him in new system and a playoff hunt, like it kind of re-energizes
Oh
him.
yeah, no. Like I said, there's a case to be made for him. It's just like I'm not a huge fan of Phil. Um, and yeah, it's just it like you said, it just depends on fit. Um, I've been saying for years that I think Pittsburgh's gonna fold, but it doesn't. It
Oh, I
never
know I'm the
happens.
same way
So
every single year.
yep.
That's kind of like what I was saying earlier about the Bruins. Like I think next year might be that year. That's
I
why I
mean, saying
wanted
this,
their first round pick.
saying that, I also like. I've been saying the same thing about Washington. Washington hasn't really folded either. Like Washington's
Same.
getting up there in age. Like I felt like Washington was just gonna like the only reason I would tune into a Washington Capitals game be like, all right, how many goals is Ovi gonna hit now? Like
Right.
that's the only reason I would want to watch them. But for some reason or somehow they stick it out. Labby's getting the most out of them for sure.
Yeah, he's a hell of a coach. Yeah.
He is a one hell of a coach.
All right. Well, I think that's a good point to wrap on.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like we did first show, not too
Not too
shabby.
bad. Yeah, not too bad. So we will be doing another episode Monday night. We'll have a podcast out for you. Monday. Uh, don't know the time yet, but we're thinking 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock. I don't think Kevin will be joining me, but my buddy Ben will be joining me. We're going to be doing trade deadline coverage all day Monday, and we're going to have a lot of different writers and analysts from around the area hop in and join us. So make sure you tune in for that. Kev, you got any final words?
Nah, just I'm ready for this G news to drop anytime now, so I can
It'll
grab my
it'll
tape.
it, it'll
Okay,
happen by the next time we record.
that is for sure. That is for sure. I just want it to
And I am
happen.
pretty sure it's Florida.
You're it makes the most sense to me. It does. But yeah, no, I want to get it. Rip the band-aid off. Let me curl up in my ball and cry, and then I'll be good. Um,
All right.
yeah. All right, buddy.
All right. Well, that was a
Yeah.
good episode, and we will see you again on Monday.